Ndikulandireni ku program yathu ina ya The Times Exclusive amene timabwera kuti tiyankhule ndi Amalawi osiyanasiyana amene ali ndi nkhani yokuti auze mtundu wa Amalawi. Programu ya Times Exclusive imatifika ndi thandizo lochokera ku Rainbow Paint. Dzina langa ndine Wonder Msiska Kanpompo. Chabwino tsopano ndikuonetseni mlendo wathu amene tili nayo mpulogalamu yathu ya lero. Mlendo wathu ndi Romulus Chikafutwa, the Apple Guy. Ndakulandirani Mr. Apple Guy. Very famous young man. The Apple Guy, the Apple Guy. Mwamwina anthu samadziwa zina limene la Romulus Chikafutwa. Chifukwa limene likutrenda kwambiri ndi the Apple Guy. Tisanapite kwambiri mkati titakudziwani. Romulus Chikafutwa ndi ndani?
So I'm Romulus Chikafutwa. I'm a 27-year-old man.
27 years.
Yes. Okwatira. Mugusana guys, we have one son. So basically, I have a family. Yeah. Just a month ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So
And
band of joy.
Is it? Band of joy.
Band of joy.
Usiku zumateka kugona.
Usiku nde mukuzwaga. Kusita na shift bus. Komano, it's a very good experience, you know. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I can't lie. Yeah, it keeps positive somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Apple Guy.
Yes,
anthu kungonena Mr. Apple Guy ndikuti anthu akudziwa kuti munthu amene ndi yali ndi shop ya ma apple pa ujina pa Mall of Africa. Komanso kulilongwe ku Gateway Mall. Timati mutati pasano ulendo umenewu. Zidamba bwanji zoti inuyo muyambe kukhala Mr. Apple Guy, mfuna muzingogulisa katundu wa Apple. I want the story. Zidamba bwanji zimenezi.
Well, it started quite small. I remember at Tulu College.
Good man.
I was learning at NASIT. Computer programming.
Okay.
So school kuja matabe wona mafana eno kuti noko kuchita kwa mbili. Chimama gwisa nalijiti. iPhone. That time iPhone 6. Yeah, so
Nila jitimele. Wena mutama kweza kwa
2019.
Chabwino.
Around there. Wezo tukusukuja ndio nalisa masilira. So you'd always wonder what's so special about chimene chichi. So I had discovered kuti chichi makanga rino ngaruka magura Benz. Unalisa mangoti I did Benz. So to me I was like I feel like this has a prestige value in the society, yeah? So na mbabe nazigulira kanga
unagula kanga iPhone yako.
Yes, so
that was mati chama 2019.
Yeah, that was 2019. So wezodi kusukuja kafoni kaje wina kupepa bwana. So iwe mwana wakagula I think that time 50,000. Mafundi magulisa 50-100,000
ya second hand. Right.
Udabwa mawa muntu kupepa ndio ngomuye samuntu iro mina 90 or 8 udabwa muntu cash zukhala bwanji. So bezo so wina akugulisa so umpepa ya bro into ubasani ndamo magutu udabwa dino anthu ajano ukagula wina kugula. So with time I sat down. So I was like chabwino ndumaka ndakhala ndi yanga ndagulisa sikulina nazayesa kukhala wawiri ndagulisa ndeno chabwino ngandupanga 10,000 ndezi zintu zitakhala nazo 10 or 20 ningabangenda mazingati. You know, so I told myself to say let me try to discipline myself, you know. So even for me my volunteer manager amati kulubirira kuti pasafizi. So I was like mina kafiza tandipasa izizi boda I'm sure so tindukamwira ndikabangire china chake. What if I can just take this man ndikayipangire suti ndiseka juga, but I know that for sure zumaka zumadan zumatinga. So I remember that time nali ukaposta pa Facebook mpaka na for the first time bwana na ga good music ananiambia phone namwe ndifuna phone na Facebook mtu jakubwera ku school pa jipezi even yesterday so with time I think I started learning to say I feel like the more I discipline myself and focus more on this I believe that it will benefit the so I did that and it was quite an experience because I remember even panoboloma kusaina dakhala kuone akumwe nthawi makhawuli ndikuchedwa for entire break or lunch then makhanda tuluka ndi uma ndikastomba Shoprite ndikabwerera kuje ndikuja I'm late I'm always the late come mwaona olo pa break budget makhandika I think 30 minutes break then matupira pa Shoprite ndikuma ndikastomba choncho. It was an ongoing experience but you know I really enjoyed it because I'm gonna pass a wisdom to say good, you know, my son, I think you can go through this path, you know. So that was just part of it.
So mwapita kuna sit kuti mukapanga computer programming.
Yes.
Imaenda computer programming kapena zitangamba za mafoni izi inazaoneka kuti zitichedwesa mwina za programming izi za mafoni izi zimezi kugwira.
Actually, you know, when I started in school, in my SS, I was really all of my grades in the anali you know, because you know I had that hard way. I saw during my time I saw people go to time and it was you know, you'd see that they were doing really well, but I told myself that okay fine, it's not quite usual for us to at a young age, but I had believed to say, you know, sometimes no matter what, but school imaenda bwino kwa basi
mokuti munamaliza school kuna city you graduated ndi chani
computer programming
yeah as a degree or munabwa ndi degree ya ucheni ya computer you are a programmer.
Yeah, I'm a programmer by profession.
Have you even tried after that kupanga any type of programming work kapena because of this business now ya mafoni ya programming jenango pachika basi a degree kungomera fumbi?
A degree, to be honest, I've never really used it anyway. Because after college it was straight. I was like I had enough time now, but my lectures and my so I think I had sat down to see, you know, okay, where is it that I can improve? You know, because when it comes to that the Apple ecosystem, it's quite broad. Because every year, but that time my capital in the business okay, now I think it means like mukakhala panopa mumaganiza kuti business imene munayamba ndamazingati? During that time I would say 100,000-200,000 to be honest. Yeah.
You mati 200 you buy a phone?
Of course.
Kugulisa.
Yes.
Kena kamino khanda awiri kugulisa. Nkumagula.
Then it grows. Yeah. So
to maybe how much before you left school?
I can't really remember during that time, but maybe the capital was maybe 2 to 3 million. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So magula kuti mafundi.
Okay, so at first it was just amene wapi. When we said I was not homework how to be right? So you can't just become the master in it. So makabe you know muna kwa ponya pa Facebook. So umpanga po jamani how can I get this, get that? So that's how it started. But with time you had seen that the demand maybe for new phones was there, so you wouldn't really source that out here, you know. So I was forced to get out of my comfort zone and find other ways to go about it. So that's how it's interesting there.
Okay, so from that humble beginning, mina the 50,000 kwaja 100,000 mamba kugula mafoni kugula ukuskuli kuenda, you've graduated with your degree in computer programming which you haven't used up to now. You have developed now full interest in the Apple products.
Yes.
How did you then move mwamaliza school age? Munapamba pati, munapeza shop, munatani. How are you selling this now?
So what happened was ndalama katakula pang'ono napeza galimoto kenakake. I think kenaka amagulisa ulio.
Amagulisa wena galimoto.
So ndata ababa ndikufunika jani? Ndikufunika galimoto. So I think I had to make that today. I'm not sure if I can afford it. Bas. Napita umene kuja, it was some guy working at Standard Bank. And I did Tandisa, nagula galimoto. It was a track twin scheme journey. I went home, we go on Zabunobino. So I think I had started a good business. You know, so I had Kajikwama and Mapolo Garibano, Bamuna Kamfuna phone. So I had like maybe all my phone at 10 and then I just put them in plastics and put rubber bands. But after whenever I just saw zombies gonna go, you know, my country so my customer did the master. So my business customer na kagulimbi, all customer matoka kuvoma. Whenever if I have to come to Zomba, some kind of fuel. So maybe that time to fuel 20,000. So
some kind of meaning what? Ku cost ya phone.
Yes. So I'm just so happy that a lot of people in this country learn home business, because they compromise it. They put themselves in the other person's shoes to say, I think Muntida did the point. So my business do more. I'm going to 10 so can so 20 if it's 20,000, I'm going to 10 bunch. So people were very understanding, and the fact that Muntida won't be seated, suddenly beat it up front for Agajuni guy. At least it was so. Usually it would work out, but sometimes, you know, business is business. And it's part of it, and you move forward.
So you bought a car.
Yes. Yes, I had to. Yes. Yes.
Now you've moved from 1 phone, 2 phone to 10 phones.
Yes.
Matenga kuti mafuna amene wakuti azikhala enieni chifukwa kuliso tu ma products ena apo amene ali abodza, genuine and fake products. Anu amapeza kuti azikhala kuti anthu akagula azikhutisidwa kuti ndagula product enieni yolondola, a genuine product from Apple.
You know, authenticity, when we talk about Apple products, you know, it's my kind of serial number. Panopa, of course, my channel, you know, time ndimo basically out, you know, inayonika ngati ina yeni. But you know, with the authenticity, my serial number aja is makali zimself authenticate or muntu asa nagule amabanga panchi time ndenda chika kuti battery health ndiyotani, or if not makamera makamaka phone ndela mazivira camera. So and on top of
camera imatani kwa amene ena facility magwisa ntchito Apple, so pardon our ignorance, battery imatani. Okay,
so my battery health, my phone I don't my battery health where imaonisa the maximum capacity of the battery yet. Like, you know, yourself kugula galimoto jamgamailiza example push start pompo imalina likakati lugamba uvaya limaonesa suma signs ena limayamba you understand. So it's the same psychology that goes to the phones where it shows the maximum capacity, and likakati ambanga lamba kuta limaonesa so zimalimba message mafoni moja. So I think they are very educated now, and even then they've been educated. So and hajado is also, you know, I'm a check it. As another national very so for me also, you might say, you know, quality also don't compromise. You know, because at the end of the day, what was growing the business fast was ukuvidika kwantu. Ukhala mabanga chikungamo. Chifandika kupeza nini? Nakusa njinjabwino mugamuza sunzana. Zanoja sikulina azabizole olumbaloga wa ngara paparuka mayeso akujani my university. Ana kuda tini kwapo guy. Amakani zintu zabwino. So it's always very important when you're doing business, but no quality, don't compromise, because and ukabizole no kumudicide amauzana. Of course, sometimes into small penalties to work wicked, but you always have to ensure what you know ukonze badibo, ukonze bamene.
So here is a guy, wajita graduate from UNASIT with his degree, computer programming. Just did you do it? Chifanya kuti makolo amati mukapange kapena it was something that you really wanted to do. Komano ina zasokoneza on this idea yogulisa mafoni. Was it something that you had picked? Kapena, it was a family discussion. Mwena mutapita.
Actually, when I was young, when I was in primary school.
Yes.
Makolo mabezoti phone ina ikaona kukira. I remember phone yawe naza onongeka. That anagula ina kumodivasa phone. So I used to stay in Chileka, and in Lunzu there was a certain guy who his name was Same. So mabezoti nigga go to school sometimes, then I can phone it. So I would go to Lunzu. So I'll just sit there and watch, because that's
where you're watching this Same guy.
Yes, mabanga watch. So with time, with maybe God's timing, on Mauna society, Makarira, it was just like maybe the right timing, I should say. Because owners into communism and data. Then that was it. So you also learned how to fix my phones. Of course. So by watching Mr. Same fixing some. Yes, and I used to do that. Phones. Yes, and I used to do that because Olokushibindawanga. Mabolo, of course, amaziwa. So, or even my dad before he go to work, amatondibeza. I would palika phone again agage. Because my customers are about to prove it. Maybe I'll just be fixing it Olokushibinda. Okay, so I want to understand. Okay. Secondary, primary. You were a phone repair. I wouldn't really say, but when I recall, I would relate to say, started there because school in capital in Bangilan. Programming. Koma kaka ujeni be knowledge ko konza ti mafoni tikapoirabe. You had it. Yes, of course I had it. Kena gano moved to selling Apple. Of course. Because the Apple was the high-end product. People were so much interested in buying these products. Okay, now let's move to now. How did you then move from kugulisa ndichikwama from galimoto to thinking, good, you know what? Nditakutsegula shop. Chifando kumbukira mwambo segula shop udali upasa chidwi. Bali magalimoto jani and I wish I had that video to play it. Maybe I can find it. But you have Masekelela pipi Apple guy and people were talking, there's this boy, he's called Apple guy. He said I want to know which you got. Oh yes. So for that, I just did it for branding to say. I did it for personal branding because I didn't want my personal name out there. But I was like, okay, if I have a business, but what if I can also try to sell my brand, business, right? So last time we print out madam my number plate. Apart from just getting married, he decided also to sell the brand of Apple Guy. Now. When did you choose to say, I'm going to be called the Apple Guy? Apple Guy. Is it something that you... At first people, okay, so my business, first of all, if I talk about now, it's people are a bit more exposed. On TikTok, and I've seen that a lot of young people in Malawi, even what do we call this? Social medias, influencer, which also carries weight, because you can also choose to use those people. It's like you're supporting one another, local industries. Yes. But during, if you talk about 6 years ago, it was quite different. I didn't because yes, we were there. But if I'm to be honest with you, that time business was based on, like referrals. You understand? So no basically I remember nimo ntongulisa with phone. So ndikangulisa muntu nakuri amakonda pa. Mina bila ku close kuch. So maybe tomorrow the next day you get a phone. No, I was with Oguri. Ronaldo ndawanda. I'm on phone yawe yasida. Would you have a phone? So that's how it grew from like people getting to know us. Then I was like, let me create a brand name where people can they don't have to know me through. I wanted to differentiate myself from my personal life and business, So that's how it started growing. Could company channel. Nice what would be the best name? I don't know if it was a good name or not, but here we are. Yeah. Being called the Apple Guy. So because I wanted to be very specific to say I didn't want to go broad to say I want to do everything. I just wanted to be a master in one art. You understand? So
And how has that worked? Could you decided to pick Apple products and stayed with them? Amene anthu amakhulupirira apena kuti zinthu zodula zimafuta kupeza makastomala amene kuti uzidikira kuti ugulise chinthu after a period yaitali you may not be able to pay for rentals, or if you have staff members, their salaries. How has it turned out for you? Kuti you picked a product, high-end product, you're moving products and you've grown now mpaka nakukhala mashop awiri.
Okay, so the beauty about I would say this brand, maybe it's broad, I would say. Kumano, as I said earlier, it's like kulisa mapenzi. Unalese ulikuchukua amafuna kwela penzi. Mwanazwana I'm sure kwela penzi. So when we talk about ngati community, this brand itself, right? It's everybody wants to have an experience with it, and what it offers, because when I listen about iPhone ndio dula, but mapesa kabe kuti anthu kuti akapesa kangachipa lendala, everybody wants to have a share of it, and I'm happy now that the ecosystem has grown it, kuti panopa when I listen akutani amazifuna zinthu zija, because at first people they used to say no, the interface is quite complex, imavuta sungayijaile, wanonzo kuti munthu wakhala ndi phone makhalabe kuti iPhone panopa winaliyesa amakonda kukhala ndi iPhone, so it's a good thing. It's also a status symbol. That's what I've also realized, which is a good thing, good for us. So
status symbol, when you say status symbol, you mean what? Umakanga, you've made it in life? Not
necessarily, but I would say that's a broad question. I wouldn't want to really get into it.
I see it's a status. Ukavumbusa anthu akadusa mafoni anthu amaona kuti ndi anthu angati amene ali ndi ma app ndi mafoni nawo.
Panopa amala ambiri iPhone anayikonda tisanami. When I listen, I've seen that anthu ambiri amalimbikira. When I say alimbikira muja amafuna kukhala chinthu chabwino. More like mukakauti mwamenya pena pake mufuna TV ya bo. So iPhone is part of it. When I listen, mafuna kuti they should have a share of it, which is a good thing, So yeah.
Amalawi panopa nthawi zambiri munthu wapanga business chimene chimazavuta kwambiri ndi customer care. Kuti mwina aka mogula uja wapeza vuto kaya kudandaula china chake kuti athandizidwe. How do you handle that ngati now the Apple guy? How do you handle customers amene akumana ndi mavuto ena ake mwina pamene akugula katundu kwa inu?
Okay, so you've heard that saying that they say the customer is king. So for me and my team, we believe to say the customer is always right. Like customer not bwira. Customer not bwira takwiya. You understand? For us, we understand kuti kunesa kabulika ndarama amafuna the right experience. But for us, we focus on making that customer happy. It's not every day that you make money. You understand it? Kumano customer joka bezika ro musamala. Umapezeka kuti zinthu zimatani zimaenda bwino, because customer ja ukamusamala pamawa azakukumbukira kuti anthu aja china chake sichinaende bwino komana tani anandisamala. So customer care is the most essential element in every business, because if you have bad customer service, they would bad customer care kuti china chake munthu jawapanga china chake chalakwika they would zinthu sizimatani sizimaenda. So that's what I would say about it.
So far, have you had my instances where a customer wagula katundu wanu ubwera inupana kulephera kumuthandiza?
No, that we don't allow. Because I've learned it way back in the day. Kale I used to do mobile business, right? And dealing with different people, and people react to things differently. But the most important part is to always be there for your customers, because my customer so you always have to ensure that your customer, because for me I would say that customers were my biggest capital, right? Because they kept coming back. What Gulisa, they come back, and looking back to see where we are today. And actually, I remember before this is a good shop where what had forced me to open the shop was organizations. When they said, I'm a waiter, can you supply this, can you supply that? It can be even the government itself, it can be big banks, it can be NGOs, private institutions. I've had experiences even in the past before where nalibe shop. So in Makaranga, business I wouldn't get it because it would feel like public interest. But I want that azadi stuff at times. Komano ahibe shop. Amene ni ndani how special is ukanga so makanga maybe ukanga dufuna umpasile na wage china jage. So with time I had learned that when you located somewhere, you present yourself, people trust you. So how you present yourself also, it brings in so much. So I had opened, let's say Gloyamba. I was scared because you're scared of compliance because you have to comply. It's very, very important. So I had learned to say, I feel like zinthu zinafika point kuti nolukamenda nazo mkali muzimajuluka. What if one day asandipanga chipongo? So looking at all the factors, I had say, let me settle down. So I still wasn't up for it because I was scared. No shop has more expenses. You need a team because even the team that you're working with, you don't know right? So I had found a team. First of all, Wanga set up area could at least so for me the presentation was, since it's an Apple product, I want customer akabwira. I want the feeling that you get when you come inside. It should you also feel that I've seen this maybe at some airport in some country. So that's what it was for me, and nice go and set up. And then with time now, the support that we needed from the organizations that were coming at first, now at least we had the location, we had referrals, so we had a brand. So it sort of paved the way for us, that helped us to grow, Sometimes also you just have to use the right channels, and that's it.
You're watching Times exclusive and in tonight's edition of the program we have Mr. Romulus Chikafutwa, the Apple guy, and the program is brought to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints, and we'll be back after this short break. Takulandira nisoni pamene tikupitirira ndi program yathu ya Times exclusive imene matifika ndi thandizo lochokera ku Rainbow Paints. Ndipo mu program yathu ya lero tikucheza ndi Mr. Romulus Chikafutwa, amenewa ndi amene amadziwika ndi dzina lokuti the Apple guy. At 27 years old atsegula ndithu mashopu akuluakulu ndithu mdziko muno ogulisa ma products amenewa a Apple. Nde takulandira nisoni Mr. Apple guy.
Bwana
timakamba zokuti mnali mtimantha koma pang'ono mantha aja kutha kutsegula shop yoyamba, panonso matsegula shop yoyamba mdatsegula Blantyre mete manenera pa Mall of Africa, yachiwiri ndi Trade Gateway Mall mzinda wa Lilongwe. Pano mumagwira anthu ogwira ntchito ku company kwanu ali kwangati?
Now we have a number.
Yes.
Maybe about 8
people
around there.
And employer wamphafu.
I'm sure, yeah.
Business wenda bwanji. How would you describe the padakali pano tikumamva kuti ya inflation kuvuta, komanso forex kuvuta, ya tikaona nkhondo zikuchitika gaso petrol akuvuta. Business iniyo wenda bwanji pa ground?
Business is quite slow. When you talk about the inflation and everything, but I believe good is into Zikalapon. It's a game of patience, but during this time you still have to persevere. So many someone should come to you and say, no, John, I. So I believe good, even panopa business is difficult in kondo zakunja zija zimakhalabe kuti zimapanga affected zinthu kunokwet komabe at the end of the day zinthu so everything is okay. Yeah.
Makatenga kuti maproducts sana.
Semanina?
It's a secret. It's a business secret.
Every business is a secret. Umaziwa, so you just have to. The main goal is just to have authentic stuff. You have good suppliers from wherever they come from, and yeah.
So babe busimunganene. Okay, utita timisa microphone mina mutawuzete. Komano amalawa nakulandirani bwanji. Mwatsegula shop weyamba mango pangano mwachibwana bwana. Panopa you're doing it seriously. Ndipo anthu angapo akhala kumanena kuti who is behind Apple Guy, because people believe kuti a 27-year-old boy, if I call you a boy, a 27-year-old boy cannot own shop ngati imene planter, shop ngati imene kulilongwe kukwena ukhawe nayo kuseri wanu kuli ndani kuseri wanu ku Mr. Apple Guy.
I believe that's what anthu amagamba amakhanizo kambozo siyana, but consistency bwana. What is I to be honest with you, and although there's someone behind or kaya kulindani, sometimes I just feel like sometimes people are always in denial to say this is not possible. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
But God's grace to me, I've seen even upon my life to say that God's grace is something that you should, for me, I pray for it, and it's something that, something just connects you to something. You understand? So, if customers, amarikumbukira, because it's the same repeat customers. You understand? So, that has actually, I would say, help us to grow. You understand? So, we are where we are because of customers, their support. So that's it.
Muone ngati ndinu munthu okhulupirira Mulungu. Makhulupirira Mulungu?
Very much.
Ndinu obadwa somasopano?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Nzotheka mkhristu mapanga business atwena mona ngati nzosatheka. Chifukwa kuti makhanga ati business mafunika uzikhako ndi utambwali chanjani munthu mkhristu ngati mapanga business. Mesa business kuliza utambwali chonchi.
Not really bwana. Business bwana imangofunika quality, said, being honest to people, because that's for me. I know that's my capital, because because even if you build customer experiences, it's not magic or anything, but it's just the feeling that you get. And I've learned this the experience, exposure, I should say, is really important. Because after some time, the experience, you'd see and who they don't even know if you have the money or not, but the way that they welcome you actually feel to say, so for us, that's what.
So mira makulandira na nthu mukapita kumkoma suppliers anu. Ndimeso malandira kapena mamuyangana kaye kuti uyu mene wavalira uyu angagule apo. Mbona muja wavala kabudula wako ma slippers usungoti taisa nthawi tapita ku Android ama kukusa ma Android pamusiku apo.
Abwena malayo osazapokesa munthu atakubwera olavala kabudula oboka. Atakulusira 20 million. So you don't have to look down on anyone, because olantwena ndo safu nakuonekera masitepesa. So lokubwera kumene kuja everybody is king. So it's one of those bana.
Now kumbuyo kwanu kulibe mwenye fantena khulupirira kuti a 27-year-old boy mashopo apo 2 ozaza bwino khuthala amene wawa mmene muja muli china chili chonse ndimati ndikaona ndekuti maujeni mafoniwo mpaka na pano pachani ma 17 alimo memuja maujeni ma iPad memuja muli ma Apple Book mpaka na muli ma PlayStation PS5 kulibe wina kumbuyo amene amakutchula ni beina aje kuti amphanga iwe ngofranta poti ndiwe Malawi koma kumbuyo kukulena akamene makapasa kuti enaka achinthuchi.
I'm sure sometime anakakhala alipo anakakhala very excited pena pake kunena kuti napanga invest pena pake tona ndizikuyenda chonchi. So I believe kuti zinakhala choncho as much as mina anthu anakamaganizira zinakhala zinakatuluka it. But you can see, so for me I just believe in even amunyani shop out, sometimes you can collaborate and you lose nothing. You understand? And collaboration, I don't mean it to say, but parties and no. Sometimes they might want something, if they want something, you give them a good price and that's it. And business goes on. So yeah.
For a 27-year-old man like yourself, to have 2 shops and you khala kachenji kalipo eti ngati mukaona makaunti mukachenji kalipo zopheka bwanji kuti mukhalira ndi mkazi mmodzi chonchi ndikamwana sibwezi mtauni mose muno anthu akuziwa apo gaya nali pano apo gaya na umwaza apa nyanja akangutere ndekuti magreta kungopanga aye apo gaya mkazi wake winaso. How do you keep yourself calm and disciplined when you have an opportunity to do whatever you want, probably because of the business you're doing?
But for me, with my character, I would say that I'm a bit of a reserved person, so azinzanga eneo ambili ndi 40, 30, azinzanga kuti azichimwinanga ndazichimwinanga, so nanthu kuti alamakoza dafa nezizi ifeyo tazipangapo, so nzotiri kuti muzipange panopa zitha kufuelisani. So at the end of the day anthu ngati amene acha kumakunikira umayeneka be kuti umayeneka kumavera and at the end of the day kuzichepesa kuchete zinthu zambiri umapezeka kuti you learn so much maona. So for me nimaona kuti I'm not yet there, so even with the little that I have, I don't have to be all over the place.
Koma amabwera ine zatenga phone ya ulere ndani ngoli basa phone 17 ni mulele zomwe mukufuna
balibe
sabwera bizapoga bagulura sama sirena ina ake
ufuna madam kuni
I'm not saying kuti niyo mabanga koma kuti anthu ena ake ufuna kubwera abe kusayisera anadziwa kapena kuti mwina wake afana amene isapanga zimenezi
audience koma basa mbona palibe injosi
okay na nkuteka pali wachinyamata wina kuondera program imene kumana kuti mwati Mr. Apple Gandhi zaka zingati 27 and ali ni mashopu awiri walemba anthu almost mwina pano pa 8 9 10 akwanitsa ndithu kulipira ma bills mashopu menemo kulipira anthu masalaries mpaka nabe yeso nkumakhala life kake kabwino. Ndi mavuto anje amene munthu angazikonzekeresa akamafuna kwa business imeneyi komanso mmati niyo mukaona kuti how do you benefit from it? What is the satisfaction of doing this business despite which there might be challenges here and there?
Okay, so like I said, our products are quite high end. So basically kuti basically kuti kuzwana ni mabwana akula kuweti kuti I wouldn't want to mention them, but basically kuzwana ndantu you get connected to high profile people. Umazona ndantu kuti there are people in the society, that's a plus. And when we look at the challenges are quite a lot. Because at the end of the day, in younger business is quite capital intensive. Every year we look at phone in IDOC.
Yes.
And
ango Peter Bay.
And to Malawi.
Ama yembegezera nthawi yatukuka kwina kusekwa amafuna kuti kunosweka.
Because ananga some anthu America agwino khanda access. If we need to if it's on the anthu. We love nice things. So umaona be kuti every year kumakhala kuvuka zinthu so for you to have it each and every item bwana it's not easy. But pang'ono be umabezeka be kuti kanga chebe tili nako basi timakhala ndi zinthu zimene jani tinazo. So the other challenges are wakati muntu you don't provide authentic stuff, it's a big problem. Because anthu amatani, like we said, anthu amauzana. So I would say that, you know, being authentic is a very vital role, right? Because at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, wakati kuvanga zintu
maphatikiza
wakati kubereka zintu zabu, you know, other people mtengo price, it doesn't really matter. You've seen the other people, they just say, I just want nice things. The mtengo, I really don't mind. So it's one of those things. So, and at the end of the day, also discipline. As young people, I would encourage to say, I understand that we are people, we like nice things. You know, you're building up and you discipline yourself to say, I just want to focus on this. You know, that discipline and consistency pays off. You know, because for me, personally, it's like, if I look back where I was and where I am right now, so if I had given up that time, I think more sooner you know. So it's something that in every business, I've seen good entrepreneurs, you know, mainly that's where things are difficult, because process it up. So example to kind it once there. Dagarun 200,000. Vudo limenunga kadi nalo ndi time nunga gule garundwa tingoli 50 or 100 million. Siji most. So sometimes you can get frustrated to say, oh, you want to give up. But then if you give up, then what? There's no one who's going to come to say, hamune nisungubasani jagunolo 20 million per mwezi. No one can really do that in this life. So you're the only person who can actually look out for you. Because tumakali at the end of the day to kukula. So I would encourage people to say, let's keep trying. Things get difficult, zimavuta, but also my give you know.
So if there's anyone, amene akudionera panakali pano, ali ndi loto ngati lako, la the apple guy, you can encourage them.
Yeah,
kuti bwerani guys, malo alipo kapena iye atakwana pano pa kulisa mapo simungabwereso.
I wouldn't really say, but you know, it's in every business. Every business, obviously, you know, there are always players. If you've noted, you know, you go to banks, you go to people selling food. There's always room enough for everybody. You know, because customer, amasanka kumenya kutani, agufune. So for you can just see how is it that you can differentiate yourself. How can you be different from the rest of the people? You know, that's how business is supposed to be. So when you know, the market is saturated, and but everybody at the end of the day they'll sell. You know, God will bless everybody. So that is a problem. So yeah.
Now, mumati mukayang'ana ulendo wanu mene mwayendawo from 2019 uzafika pano, that's about 6-7 years.
Yeah, I can say 6.
Yeah. Mwafikapo? Do you see yourself with now pano Mr. Apple guy nafika guys ndikungomva odi ni money kapena you still have plans to grow? And if you have plans to grow, how big do you want to grow?
You know, okay, I've seen in life, I just feel like wakati you want zintusinas again, you get it. Sometimes it's never enough. I don't know if you know, I don't know, maybe it's just part of being a human being, but I can't only say that, but when you look at also the business needed, okay, fine. Last year I was here, this year this is what I want to achieve. So I would say sometimes it's also important to set goals in life, to say, okay, fine, because now when nobody will figure out, you can't do more. So it's always about leaving a footprint to say, Dabanga is lero, or that's a good shop, but I still want to do more, you understand? Because even where I am, I have some goals that I have.
Because you like to share, like I
would even say, just even being known, let's say, Dabanga extend my branch, yes, but you know, I would want to be internationally known, you know. So we want to cross borders, you know, because I've seen our own Malawian people, I've seen big companies like Spark, like FDH, Msiska, they've grown to
Outside
crossing.
the
Yeah.
bank,
So
yeah.
that's black excellency. That's what I would say. To say,
Yes.
but I've seen that if those people they're able to also think outside the box and do such. I can also get innovative and creative in my own space, with what I know, and also be able to achieve what I can be able to achieve.
Now, nthawi zina business, I don't know about Yanwe.
Yeah.
Mafuna mwina ukatenge kungongole pena pake, the business financing maybe is another issue. I don't know, how do you do your business? Do you believe you need to get business financing like in forms of loan from banks, lending institution, you believe the business is amakhani ngongole?
Okay, on that question, it's quite tricky because I would say, but like for me, like I said it, when we go capital finally and money resistance. So the fact that mabanga, it's you sell, you resell, you invest the profits. It's just a chain, ABCD. So it was one of those things where even when you ask me about that question, maybe they would want to, of course, some alone, basically, the banks, they would add the interests, so muntu better, I'm sure I can just say, masamata kugwira, you understand, because maybe what might work for me might not work for the next person, but those opportunities are there, and if people are able to use that to their full potential, I also believe that they can also benefit from that. Yeah.
Kwa anthu amene amataka mwana wachinyamata nkuona ngati it's risky. Usiti ngamubwereki ngongole. Kampasa amene guys, the risk about him kuthawisa ndramazi it's high. How would you want anthu amene, how should young people be treated? Amene akuoneka kuti they have a vision, they really are serious about what they want to do, but they don't get the opportunity because they are being disadvantaged just because of age. Uri a 26-year-old guy, you think mungampasa ndramazi says? It's a big risk. What would you want to say?
Okay, on that, I would want to say so much, but I would look at both parties, right? Because the borrower and the muntamina funa kubulika ndalama. So, muntu sinangobita so ku bank the idea kuti mina ndifuna ndizigulisa Toyota Fortuner. Now the bank it also needs to be secure. So even them they're giving money, they need to be secure. So I would say, and who, of course, that if they're not able to raise such, but I would just say, start with the little that you have, to be honest, because, you just need trust. Because, so you should start with funding. I feel like it's a problem. Because, uzibanga zintu mapuma, ndikabweze ndamaya auje. So I believe, maybe if you're able, you start small. For me, that's what I would recommend to say. Start small, earn customers, build a brand, the rest follows, to be honest.
Chaka chinochi apo imasangalala kuti zaka 50 sopano kupanga ma products akosiyana apo Macintosh oyambiriraja mafoni wanajoina chakusanyedwa apa koma I think apo Macintosh, and probably 5 years of that journey you've been with them. How do you see the business yanu ya apo going forward in the next 2-3 years? Muona mkwafika nayo patipo muona kuti mpitiza ukhandi hapo kapena you think of also diversifying?
Of course, and diversifying is very important. I've seen people who have companies and then they turn it into a group of companies. That's very important because you just don't lay your eggs in one basket, right? But I would still want to be the master in my art, to be very good, because when you're good, some of good, my government institutions, they should come support us. Whether it's banks, even they want to buy Zamabwana, in my competition, we want them to come to us to say, we would want that, even privately. So I would really love to see such, So it's something that happens, but we want more of that, you understand? Because they would, even they're uplifting their own, brands, their own Malawian brands. So, we just have to also build on another at the end of the day.
Chabwino.
Yeah.
Tawi yatu yata.
Okay.
anthu aziti Mr. Appleguy anabwera mu Times Exclusive atayiwala china chilichonse chimene amvera leroli. What is the message that you want to give kwa Malawi? Ena amene ndi macustomers anu, ena ndi achinyamata angokusirirani, ena mafuna atazafika half of you ndekamera ndiyo ayankhuleni uthenga umene mungawapase anthu amene wakhoza kukhala makategori zosiyanasiyana ndi otani Mr. Appleguy?
First of all, so we would start with our customers. We would say, you know, they've supported us, Bana, to be honest, and we're thankful. And you know, for me, I just pray God blesses each and every person who's played a part of being a part of our brand. You know, without them, I wouldn't even be sitting here. You wouldn't even invite me to be here. But you know, they've supported us. I want God to bless them in everything that they do. When it goes to fellow young people or any age, you know, it might be anyone in any age, you know, I would just say, just start, you know, in whatever that you believe you want to do. I would say just start, because it's now or never. So, you know, you trust the process, and kufunika you have to earn their trust. So it's not always about, no. Just earn their trust, and who's you are, the more that they keep coming back, that's how you make your money. Because at the end of the day, so that's what I would say. And even people, if you want to office, we do our best to offer very customer service. It's very important. So I think that I customer, the many what so that's what I would say.
Ndatokoza kwambiri Mr. Appleguy.
Thank you, Bana.
Mr. Romulus Chikafutwa, the Appleguy, at 27 years amenewa akwanitsa ndithu kukhala ndi mashopu ogulisa ndithu katundu wa Apple ku Blantyre komanso Lilongwe, kulemba ndithu pafupifupi anthu 9 kuti azigwira ntchito kumene koko, komanso nkhani yawo ndiyopasa chidwi kuti mmene adayambira kugulisa ali ku school ku college ya City, mmene amapanga degree yawo ya computer programming, koma sadayigwirise ntchito adaganiza kuti yaya apange business imene nthawi zambiri amapanga ndi anthu amene si Amalawi yayi, koma yeyo wachinyamata 27 years kuboleza kumene kuti maona ngati nkhani imeneyi ndiyopasa chidwi kuti Amalawi ena tizitha kupanga celebrate ndithu ma success a fellow Malawians amene akuchita bwino ndi kuwapanga celebrate. Ndathokoza kachikena Mr. Chikafutwa kuti mnabwera. And congratulations on you being a father to this boy. What's his name?
Rimas.
Nani?
Rimas. So my dad gave me a name Romulus because I'm Romulus. So for those people who know Matenga history, yes. So it was about my twin brothers. I never had a brother. So it was about brothers where they were raised by wolves, you know. So so big money Rimas, so
the twins are Jana final.
Yes.
Osiana zaga to the James. Amen. Ndatokoza pamene so ndikamsiziro pa program yathu ya Times Exclusive timajeza ni Mr. Romulus Chikafutwa, the Appleguy. Program we amajambula ndi Obet Mkangama koma amene amathandiza kukonza zina ndi Howard Singomvera. Malamwa ma sponsors athu Rainbow Paints, makomanonse, and goodbye.